Hey, what's up, guys? Boom. Topic. Everybody says, I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die. However, the truth of the matter is, although we say it, we're really not. I could prove that in a hot second by kicking someone's door in with a baseball bat on fire and coming over to your head with it. All of a sudden you'd be like, wait. At that particular moment, you decide that dying isn't something that you really want to do. So you're not all that game for dying, even though we say we are. If it came to dying on our own, by our own will, our own way, just to die in your sleep, well, gee, that would be fine. But I don't think it works that way in real life. Hence, death happens in many, many, many ways. Death doesn't just happen just because you go to sleep and you wish for death. You know, you're tired of life. We're all tired of something, that's for sure. And life isn't easy, because if it was, everybody would be succeeding. Everybody would be first in their class. And you think about that for a second. Dying is not something you look forward to. In a way we do. As a Christian, I look forward to, because death only brings forth new life. At least that's what I believe. I believe this was just a testing ground, guys. You know, at some point in our life, we grow up and God said, hey, you ready to come back home? And I said, yeah, I'm ready to go home. You know, there's another one for us right there, folks. Home. Everybody always says, I can't wait to go back home. Well, where is home? And how did you get here? Think about that for a second. If home is heaven, how did you get here? And what are you? You think about that for a second. Everybody says, I want to go back home. Why, you been there before? You want to go home. Home is a place that you've been before. Home is called home because there's love in that home. There's family in that home. There's a place that we call home because it's near and dear to our heart. We call heaven home. But unless you've been there, how do you know you want to go back? You know what I mean? If we're here, why are we here? Who put us here? And why? And let me tell you something about being ready to die. Today is the 23rd, 2021. 2017, on February 21st or February 20th, I was about to board a flight to California. I had just quit my job. I had just gave my truck away. I had just told my landlord after 5 years, I'm leaving. I threw away everything I had except for a suitcase on my back. Okay? And I didn't know if I was making the right decision. This is based on God. You know, God, in no uncertain ways, showed me that I had something I needed to do. So that morning, I believe it was the 21st of February, 5 years ago, it was a week after Valentine's Day. And I was sitting in a little, like a small outside booth, looks like almost like a bus stop where you wait inside of a small booth no more than like 6 or 8 feet long with a bench inside of it with it covered over in glass. And I was sitting there and I was having a cigarette. And God said something to me that, as it was, I was crying. I was very sad. I kissed my kids goodbye because I said that this is something that I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but God is leading me to do it, and that's what I'm going to do. You know, I made a deal with God. You take care of my kids, I'll do whatever it is that you want. I'll go outside, I'll live outside, whatever it is, I will do it. That's the promise I made with God. I begged Him, you know. And right before I got on the plane, I was sitting out there having a cigarette, and of course I was crying, of course, because I was about to leave. You know, I wasn't sure. And God said this to me. God said the plane will crash and everybody on board will die except for you. You will walk away And there's a little bit more to it. God said, you will walk away to prove who you are. Now, all I did was start crying and hysterically crying because, I mean, I love God. I follow God. I true to the heart, hardcore. I give whatever advice I give, I follow it, because otherwise you shouldn't give advice if you don't follow it. That's useless. It's a waste of breath and time. And time is precious, folks. So I started, like I said, hysterically crying to the Lord, saying, you know, you can't do that. You can't kill these people, Father. There's absolutely no reason. I was begging God not to do that. There's absolutely no reason to do that, Father. I was hysterical. And I said that would be extremely hard on my family, and I wouldn't be able to make this trip. And that would probably screw up my faith. But the thing that bothered me the most afterwards was I couldn't live with the guilt of everybody dying for God to do something for me. I would have killed myself. I couldn't have taken that. I don't think anybody really could. That's how hard that would be on your life and on everything. You know, for God, if God wishes to prove something, that's God will do that on His own terms and His time. But I didn't want to be a part of something like that. But I'll tell you what, I wasn't ready to die, but I got on the plane. And not only did I get on the plane, if anybody wants to verify this is the good thing about this that happened to me, is I flew over a storm named Lucifer, coming into California from Arizona, flying over from Nevada. We encountered Lucifer. It was crossing over California. So if you want to check this out and look it up, how many storms are named Lucifer? Can't be too hard. 2017, February 20th, 21st. That was real. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody, and it absolutely scared the shit out of me. So as far as people saying you want to die on your terms. Everybody does. It doesn't work like that. It's God's will how we die. And maybe in that moment your faith is tested and you'll scream out for God. That's what it's all about. You know, God told me I cannot fail if I love Him with all my heart. But there's more to that. That's another story. That's something else that God said to me. God has spoken to me many times. I'll tell you something else. No one likes being called a liar. No one. Not one person. If you believe in God and you love God with all your heart and someone says God isn't real and calls you a liar, do you like that? Would you sit there and just say, yeah, you know, you're right? No, I tell them, God is as real as the nose on your face. And He will pull the tongue out of your fucking mouth if you keep mocking God. I love God, and I love all you people very, very much. I wanted to share something with you. The fact that whether you're ready to die or not, you're not. Because sometimes you have to get in the coffin before you die. And I'll tell you something right now. Last time I checked, I didn't see any line around the cemetery. I didn't see anybody. How about you? For everybody who's ready to die, I ain't seen no line around the cemetery yet. Life and death will happen in God's time, on God's will. Whatever happens is His will, not ours. We only hope for the best. We only hope that it will happen on our terms, that we'll fall asleep and pass away. But I love you, and I thank you for joining me. If you would you join me in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be Thy name. Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. I love you. Thank you for joining me. My name is Bob. Pies and Cakes. God bless all of you. We ain't as ready as we think we are, but we can be prepared. All right? Have no fear. Love God. Trust in God. Always. God bless you. Amen.